I'm Angela. Welcome to my channel. You probably got here by accident. Welcome anyway. So I have a lot of things to go over. I just want to spit everything out through and put everything into like one quick video. First thing, how do you like my cardigan? I actually knit this myself. This is the first cardigan that I have ever knit, and I finished this in November of 2022. I started it in October. It is 100% wool. It was on my bucket list of things I wanted to do before I die, you know, your bucket list. So this is a bucket list item that I had always wanted to knit my very own 100% wool cardigan, and I did it, and I am thrilled, and it is the coziest thing in the world, and it's so warm, and I love it. Anyways, so the first thing I want to talk about is my 5 favorite books of 2022. I was able to narrow down my list of favorites to 5 pretty easily because I did not have a very heavy reading year in 2022. I had a lot of other things going on. It was a really busy year for me. I had moved into a new home and was just getting into a whole bunch of stuff. So I didn't read as much as I usually do, but I luckily did have a couple new favorites, and so I'm going to share them with you now. The first book I'm going to share with you is The Midnight Library. That book I don't have with me because I lent it out to my colleague who's using it for her book club. It's their book of the month book, so I let her borrow it. But that book was just so quick and easy to read, but it was so good. Like, we're following this girl or this young woman who life isn't going well. Something happens and she's kind of in between two worlds, in between kind of life and death, where there's this library, and there is a librarian that's helping her, and basically all of the books in that library are what her life would have been like had she made a different choice. So basically every time you make a choice, your life branches off. This is, you know, if you would have gone this way, if you would have gone that way. And she's able to open the book and step into and live the life that she would have lived had she gone that route. So this book was just so excellent. It was so interesting. It was so fun and so deep in so many ways. Trigger warnings, I guess, you know, depression, suicide, death. So look into that. But no, like this book was just incredible. I enjoyed it so much. I highly recommend it. So that was one of my favorites of 2022. My other favorite is The Shimmering State by Meredith Westgate. Look at the cover of this. Like, it's like all shimmery. It's got that kind of mother of pearl shimmery to it because this is about a new pill called Memoroxin, and it's got like a mother of pearl kind of shimmer to it. And basically this is about this kind of memory pill. Like, they're able to pull memories from someone and put them into a pill form, and this is kind of an experimental drug to help with people with dementia and Alzheimer's. But it ends up being a popular street drug, and it's starting to make the rounds where people just kind of take this pill and step into someone else's life and memories. And it's just so cool. So we're pretty much following 3 people. One is Lucas, whose mother passed away, and he moved to LA to be closer to his grandmother who has Alzheimer's. So he's dealing with his mother's death. And then we have Sophie, who is a ballerina. She just got prima ballerina, the top lead in a play, and she is a waitress when she is not doing her ballet rehearsals and things like that. So she's at a waitress in an LA, very upscale restaurant. And then there's a doctor, Lucien. Did I say Lucas? His name is Lucien, sorry. But there's a Dr. Angelica Sloan who treats people who had become addicted to and abused that memory drug, which they call MEM for short. This book was so cool. The concept was so different. Everything about this was different, and the characters were so believable. They were so normal and so relatable, and I think such a unique concept like this begets really interesting sentences. So I'm just gonna share one bit. Okay, an excerpt. This is in chapter 4. Says, in fits of sleep, he watches himself as if perched from the ceiling, ashamed of the body below. Soon he drifts back into that place he cannot control, where parts of him insist themselves known, and others recede only to return in veiled fantasy. In dreams, he is back in that blinding room with no walls. He feels around on hands and knees, but finds only more light as he crawls towards some unknowable edge, to be trapped in a limitless space. Then he is back on the table, his body motionless as his mind claws forward, searching for edges, because edges mean exits. And so this is his experience when he's receiving this treatment, you know, and it just tripped me out so much. And then you're like, your mind is in this limitless space, this light blankness with no edges, and it's so surreal. So this book was so trippy, but so good. Oh my goodness. I'm definitely going to read this again. Maybe not this year, maybe next year, but this book was incredible. Highly recommend. 5 stars on this one. Let's see what we got here. Okay. Book Lovers by Emily Henry. This is my first Emily Henry book. I saw this in Barnes & Noble. I was like, oh, Book Lovers. And you will come to know that I love books about books. Whether it's books about books, libraries, authors, librarians. I have a whole collection of books about books. So I said, oh, books about books. This was so funny. This was so fantastic, and it took that whole, it's kind of like enemies to lovers, but there's this woman who's a literary agent, and she is that power hungry, very successful, you know, loves the city life, and she's the one that is always getting left for the, you know, the cute, you know, hometown girl who's running a small bed and breakfast, that kind of trope. So she's the other lady. She's not the one that's, you know, in this small town cute place. She's like the one that the guys leave for a more hometown experience, I guess. And then there's this other fellow who I think he's an editor, but they meet, and they're just bad circumstances, bad first impression. They're not getting along, and then they just keep running into each other. And the banter of these two, I mean, they cracked me up just coming at each other. It was so funny. I loved this book. I am going to read this again. 5 stars. Don't mind my sniffles. I have allergies. 5 stars though. Oh my gosh, it's so cute. Not a whole lot of like gross romance, and there was enough here that I just didn't know what to expect. Things that I thought were going to happen didn't happen. When you think you know what's going on, that's not what's going on. So this had a couple twists and turns. It did not end up the way I thought it would, which was fantastic. So we need more books like that, you know, just a little bit unpredictable, you know, something different. Love this one. James Herriot, All Creatures Great and Small. All right, talk about this cozy sweater. This is a cozy book. I will forever remember this book as the first winter in my home, sitting by the fireplace in my recliner after work and just cozying up to this book. And it was just so sweet. I talked about this before. This is one of the books that I read in December. And it just follows James Herriot. These are his memoirs. He's a veterinarian. He was fresh out of vet school, moves far to this town to live with another veterinarian who has like this practice in his home, and they are pretty much out in like farm country, you know. So he's delivering cows, he's treating livestock, and the townspeople that he meets, the farmers, the experiences he has is so heartwarming. It is so funny. There are so many cozy scenes. The way they just describe the beautiful scenes in this town. It's like, is this, I mean, it's not Ireland, but where is he? Yorkshire Dales. Herriot roamed the remote, beautiful Yorkshire Dales, treating every patient that came his way and observing animals and humans alike with his keen, loving eye. This guy is so incredible. I'm going to read this again because it was so cute. Maybe not this year. I try not to reread books, you know, one year after the other. But this, thank goodness, is one of a couple books that he has. And I ordered the second one, which is, because this is All Creatures Great and Small. I think the next book is All Things Wild and Beautiful, something like that. So it's same thing, more stories of his veterinary experience and cases. And so that is coming this week, and I'm going to put that in my February TBR. And the fifth favorite of 2022, The Arrival by Shaun Tan. This book I have loaned out to so many people, and everyone has just come back with like, wow, I did not expect this book to be that way. The book itself is just absolutely beautiful. It's beautiful to look at. It's a beautiful coffee table book. It's a beautiful conversation starter. The illustrations, again, this is a book that I think is considered a graphic novel, but there are no words. It is just pictures. So you do not read the book as much as you almost experience it. And this is so deep and so intense and so beautifully illustrated. Everyone has fallen in love with this book. When you're looking at, I mean, look at this. It is so detailed and so beautiful. I mean, I can't say enough about this book, and this has brought so many people. This has brought so many people to tears. It brought me to tears. I've gone through this 3 different times. It's quick to go through, but you kind of want to take your time and just look at each picture, the details, and it's just fantastic. This is one of my favorites, and I know I said like the 5th favorite. This is not like number 5. These are no particular order. They are all equally 5-star favorites from 2022. Okay. Next. Whew. What am I reading right now? Roald Dahl, Matilda. I am reading this with an 8-year-old child, and we are loving this. We're only a couple pages or a couple chapters in. We're on page 49 of this, and it is hilarious. It is about Matilda, who's a young girl whose parents, her family life is just not the best, and she's like a reading prodigy. And so she takes herself to the library, checks out books, reads nonstop, and then finds out she has mind powers where she can move things with her mind. Absolutely sweet, wonderful, wonderful book. We are really enjoying this. I read this when I was younger, and now I get to read it with a young one, so this is really sweet. Out of Africa And this is by Isak Dinesen. Look at how beautiful this book is. This book was is a gift from someone at work, and this is one of her favorites. And this follows Isak, who she moved to Africa and purchased land in Africa and had a farm there. And this is her stories of the natives and Africa, and this is so beautiful and so well written, and she has got such a gift. So the book itself is beautiful. Look at the inside, like, cover. I just love this book so much. And even, let me take this off. There, it's, I don't know if you can see. There you go. That's like imprinted there. It's just a stunning book. And I am enjoying just taking my time with this because it is just so beautiful. I can read something from the book to share. I have some that are really, really long, so let me not find something that's like super long. Okay. So we'll just say, camping places fix themselves in your mind as if you had spent long periods of your life in them. You'll remember a curve of your wagon track in the grass of the plain, like the features of a friend. And she just describes Africa so beautifully, the rains, the animals. Out on the safaris, I had seen a herd of buffalo, 129 of them, come out of the morning mist under a copper sky, one by one, as if the dark and massive iron-like animals with the mighty horizontally swung horns were not approaching, but were being created before my eyes and sent out as they were finished. So just beautiful, absolutely beautiful. I recommend this book. So far, I mean, I am 79 pages into it and I am still really enjoying this. And Moby Dick, okay. Thank God I'm listening to the audiobook of this. I'm still kind of enjoying it, not as much as I was in the beginning. It was really interesting and there was a lot going on in the beginning. There was his conversations, the main person, Ishmael, who becomes friends with Queequeg, who is this cannibal, and he goes on a whaling voyage with Captain Ahab's whaling ship, and Captain Ahab has this thing against Moby Dick, which is this big white whale who took his leg, and so he's out for vengeance. And so the story is good, but there is a lot in here. There are many, many chapters where it reads almost like a textbook. He is giving you information about whaling, about the ship, about people's duties, about whales, different kinds of whales, the biology. I mean, so there's a lot of information and he can go on for chapters. So I am still enjoying it. I think if I were reading it, it would have been a little bit difficult. I can do without all of that extra stuff. I want more of the story. I want more of Queequeg. But yeah, you know, with that, it was a 5-star until it started getting into that. Now it's about a 4-star. It's still beautifully written. I do like it. Will I read it again? Maybe not. If I do, I'm gonna tab the parts I'm gonna read and just skip out all of the other parts. But those are the 3 books that I'm working on right now. And then I have a book haul, okay? This is like a 3-in-1 video, so you're welcome. All right, I was at Barnes & Noble. I had $50 in gift cards that I received for Christmas. So I went over and here is what I got. All right, I got 2 bookmarks. Look at this one. And this one's like a little mermaid. So 2 new bookmarks. So adorable. I can't have enough bookmarks. The Vampire Lestat by Anne Rice. Ooh, I just finished, a week or two ago, the interview with the vampire, and oh my gosh, I love this so much. 5 stars. I love this. So right away, I was like, I need to read the next one. There's, I think, 13 books in these chronicles. So this is the next one, The Vampire Lestat. I heard it's really good. As good as, if not better, than the interview with the vampire. So this is in my February TBR. I'm going to be working on this. So I'm excited to have that. Ooh, Hunter x Hunter, Volume 2. I finished first volume this month in January. I enjoyed it. I am looking forward to reading Volume 2 in February. I feel like February is going to be a lot of reading the next book in a series. So already, All Creatures Great and Small, I'm going to read All Things Wild and Wonderful, or Wild and Beautiful, in February, which is the second book. I'm going to read the second book of the interview with the vampire, second book of Hunter x Hunter. Oh, The Way of the House Husband. If you haven't seen this Netflix show, it is hilarious, the anime. So this follows, what's his name? I don't even remember his name, but he's like the Imperial Dragon or whatever. He was in this gang and he was known, or he's the Immortal Dragon, I think. So he's like all tattooed up and he's like this real tough guy, like no one could take him down. So, I mean, look at him. So he's this big tough guy that he's known for, but he ends up leaving the gang and being a house husband. He gets married and he's a house husband, and the way he handles things are so much like he's still in a gang, you know, like he'll go to the grocery store and be like, do you got the stuff, you know, the white stuff and this and that, and he's talking about flour, and everything's like the shady deal, and he's hilarious. He's so funny. So this is the first book in the series. Since I enjoyed that anime, I wanted to get into the manga books and go from there. I might not get into this February. I have a lot on my TBR for February, which I'll do a video later on about. Today's the 1st. So, all right. And then last but not least, I got the selected poems of Robert Frost. Don't mind my nails. Look at that. I need to redo my nails. But anyway, selected poems of Robert Frost. This I got because I have a collection of these books, and they are just these beautifully illustrated, glossy versions of mostly classics that I have. And I have maybe 5 or 6 in this style. And this is on my list of books that I want to read. And they actually might be on my list of 100 greatest books ever written. If it is, then, well, here we are. But yeah, so that's that. Beautiful hardcover selected poems of Robert Frost. So that is what I got from Barnes & Noble for $52 with my Barnes & Noble member discount. So I have this, Hunter x Hunter, Vampire Lestat, and my 2 bookmarks. Hold on. Oh, they're so cute. So that's where I'm at. I will provide an update in a little bit as I continue with these books, but I will kind of give you an idea of what my February TBR is going to be looking like. I have, I think, 10 books on that, and I'm hoping I get through all of them. But at least I have a head start on Moby Dick. I'll get that done by this weekend. See, I have like that much left. I'm more than halfway through. I'm like 80 chapters into this, and don't let that, 80 chapters. Don't let that scare you. A lot of the chapters are 2 or 3 pages long. So this book does have like 100 and some chapters. And I think the short chapters make it more readable, honestly, because I mean, it's just, look, 1, 2, 3 pages. But I don't know. So I hope you enjoyed that. I went over my 5 favorite books in December or in 2022, what I'm reading now, and a book haul in like 20 some minutes. So so enjoy your February. Have a great reading time. Enjoy your paradise through reading as I do every day. And I will see you soon. Bye.